right now. Our story, he tells it a little bit different, but the way I remember it, we're working out in the gym. He'd asked me to help, spot him something, and we've been seeing each other for quite a while. And finally, he said, "Hey, we're just talking." He said, "Hey, why don't you try this?" And I don't know why, but I said, "Yeah, absolutely." And I didn't read it. I didn't look at the box that he gave me. The box is drink, and he gave me some XM AMs and some XM PMs. And I thought, I don't want to have any preconceived notion of what I should be feeling or thinking, whatever it is that he's given me. So I'm going to take it, and we'll see what happens to my body on its own. And I tried it, and I stuck to it, and I didn't feel anything. Okay, go back to the gym. We just did our thing. About a week later, so he's like, "Oh, what'd you think?" I don't know, but after I read the box, it said weight management, and I'm not trying to lose weight, not at all. And he's like, "Oh, okay, well, no worries. Why don't you try this one?" And we talked a little bit. Excuse me. We had a little bit longer conversation. I told him what I do, and I travel a lot for work. And so he gave me some XM Plus. Gave me a box of XM Plus. And I said, "All right, I'm going to give this a go as well." And by this time, I kind of have an idea of what is going on. I'm thinking, all right, this has got to be some sort of MLM. And my dad drugged me through several MLMs. Even I think before I could really sign up for one, he was signing me up, just throwing my name in there with Amway and Herbalife and ACN. So I'd already just kind of like, but I'm going to try this. Something said, just give it a whirl, right? And so I did. And again, I didn't really feel anything. I didn't notice anything. And just having a conversation with my dad. He came over one day, and he was trying to hide this bottle. And it caught me because it was like, that looks disgusting. That must be. It's interesting. So I said, "What are you doing?" He's like, "Oh, I'm drinking some stuff with a Z." I said, "Is it Zija?" "Yeah, oh, yeah. Some people up north they gave me and they want me to try." So it sparked this conversation, and it got me thinking about the XN Plus. And what I noticed after I talked about it, when I went out of town, I went 3 days that week out of town, and I go all the way up north into the Bay Area. I left 2 mornings. I had to leave at 4:30 in the morning. And I threw down that XM Plus. Normally, it's a Monster, Red Bull, something like that when I leave that early. And I did up and back trips, so it was a day long days. And I done that. And then I noticed, I stopped at my favorite sandwich shop up north, Mr. Pickles. If you haven't been there, please, anytime you're there, Mr. Pickles. It's amazing. And I thought back, like, oh, dang, I didn't even finish my entire sandwich. And I work out like crazy, so I can eat like crazy because I love food. I didn't even finish my entire sandwich. So that really it got me thinking, what's going on? So we had a little bit longer conversation about some stuff, and I went home after talking to James, and I walk in, and my wife she's sitting there, and she said, I gave her a look. I said, "Are you in a good mood?" No. "Whatever you're gonna buy, no, not gonna happen." And I said, "No, you know what? There's something happening right now, and I've been praying for a long time for something new. I've needed something, and I started to believe that James wasn't in that gym for, he was there for a purpose, and that purpose was to meet me. So talk that out, and she's just like, "No way. I know this kind of stuff. No way, not gonna happen." And I got angry. Forgive me. We started to kind of argue, and then I stopped. I sat back. I got on my knees right in front of her, quietly said a prayer to myself. I got up. I walked out of the room, did some stuff, came back in, and she's got a check. She says, "Here you go. I believe in you. Whatever you think." So now I'm figuring, okay, I've got to create a story. Mine doesn't seem as powerful. Excuse me. Doesn't seem as powerful as James's story, and now hearing Ryan's story. And so I called my brother-in-law. And my brother-in-law is the youngest person in history to have developed a cancer called multiple myeloma. Normally affects the elderly. At the age of 24, he was diagnosed with it, and he's been battling it for 18 years. He hasn't worked for over 5 years, so my sister's been the sole breadwinner there, and of course, things like that can be difficult. They live down in San Diego, and he's lived on Monsters 3-4 a day just to get by. If he goes out of town for the weekend or he comes up to visit family in Fresno, he'll power down Monsters all weekend long, and then he crashes for a week because he's just done. So I said, "Hey, will you guys do me a favor and will you try this? And I just sent down some super mix, and they said, sure, why not? He said, if there's anything that can make me feel just a little bit better, it's worth it. It's worth retrying. So he did, and he called me immediately. He noticed something immediately, and then over the next couple of days we're talking, and he sends a text that was just incredible. And this is what had James and I in tears while we're working out in the gym. But he said in 18 years, he's been battling cancer for 18 years. Everything he's been doing has basically been kind of experimental. They don't know how to really treat him. He's had so many different treatments and drugs go through his body that his doctors told him that's kind of his new normal, just to live a very poor life. He's been thinking about suicide for a long time. And so he said once he tried this, he couldn't go to sleep. Normally he'd drop his son off at school and he'd go back to bed and sleep all day. Nope, he was up doing things, he's doing chores, to the point where he was actually doing too much that he was hurting. He was expecting some relief from the anti-inflammatories in the super mix, but he wasn't getting it because he was just doing too much, and he was able to push his body beyond something it's been doing for, that it hasn't done for a number of years. And then, I got excited. James and I are excited, and I'm thinking, this is great. But then the story got even better when I was driving home from out of town, and my sister called, and she starts the conversation like this. The conversation goes as this. I said, hello? She's like, hey, I just haven't had a chance to thank you yet for thinking of us and giving us that stuff. And she said, you've given me my husband back.
Mm-hmm.
She said, I haven't seen, this whole week, I haven't been home. I've been very skeptical. I've been working, come home very late, and I haven't really noticed anything until yesterday. He was all day long. He's in the garage, he's cleaning, he's doing all kinds of stuff. And she was in today, excuse me.
Take your time.
She said today he woke up and he said,
it's all right.
It's all right.
One more lift.
Yes.
he said, I no longer feel like the world's going to be a better place without me.
Oh.
That's huge. Mm-hmm.
Yep. So that was it. That kind of, I saw the help from that perspective with him. But I saw the big picture with, it's not just about that one person that we're helping. It helps everybody around them. And to be able to offer an opportunity like this to help my sister that, can help her be financially free. And so she doesn't have to go. She works, her job all day long. And then she goes and she's on the board of this, she's on board of that, and she's trying to do all this stuff for their son, because he doesn't have the energy. She has another job to help supplement the income. If this is something that can provide that financial freedom for her, that's what it's about. We wanted everyone, and there's no excuses as to why it won't work. And so they're my story. They're my story, and I'm still creating them. My little brother's over in the corner. He's got a pretty good one with it himself, and another one that's actually came out of nowhere was my skeptical wife, who's been battling depression for about a year now. She's loving life right now. She's on, and all she does is super mix, and she notices a difference, and she loves it, and she wants it, and now she's sharing it. That was that person that said, "No, you're not buying anything." Now she wants to be part. So there's my story. These guys are my story. The people that are around me. So don't think that it stops with just that one person, because again, it'll affect everyone around them, everyone within their circle, and that's what makes it so easy to go beyond just your list into everyone else's.
And
Yes.
what did we just hear from Richard today?
So today, you're gonna bring the tears going. Actually, 2 weeks ago, he called, and every 2 months he has to do blood work for his cancer. 2 days before I gave him the super mix, who got him started, XM Plus. 2 days before he started the XM Plus, he did his blood work. 2 months later, 2 weeks ago, they got his results back, and they said his, keep it simple, his levels had dropped more than 50%.
Wow.
And they don't know why.
Wow.
We did.
The only he knows the only thing different, the only thing that is different in his life was taking the XM Plus, and that's all he does. And then today we got great news. He did a biopsy yesterday, and we found out today that he is 0% cancer activity in his body. He's in 100% remission.
Holy macaroni.
Oh.
That's amazing. Zero cancer in his
Thank
body.
you for allowing me to speak and show some tears.
You guys what? That, I was telling you guys earlier, that's what it's about, you guys. It's those stories. You say, well, you guys were in the gym teary-eyed. I mean, could you keep your eyes unteared up right now? I mean,
No.
to get that text in the gym when we got it, I mean, you got two big guys, right, in the gym, and we're just sitting there like, oh my gosh. And I met his mom at Starbucks. That's his mom in the back. Hello.